Om Shri Sai Ram. With humility, reverence, and gratitude, I offer my loving pranams at the lotus feet of Divinity Incarnate, Lord Sri Satya Sai. Most recently, the world met at North Germany. The leaders of the world tried to find the solutions to clean up our external life. The world meets here again today at the lotus feet to find out how to clean from within. Swami says, mankind is in need of postulates for the conduct of everyday existence. The need for this is far more superior or pressing than the hunger for scientific knowledge. If law of causation is guiding rule of science, then law of categorical imperative, that is dictates of duty, is the guiding rule of life, he says. Here, intelligence has to be replaced by character, and love for science by love for God. It is our common sense understanding that there are regions of human spirit untrammeled by the world of physics. In the great works of art and literature, in the yearning for God, soul travels upwards, trying to find the fulfillment of something which is implanted in its own nature. And the sanction for this discovery proceeds from a greater power than itself, that is supreme consciousness. The sanction for this discovery is laid within the regions of the soul. And that supreme consciousness is termed as the ultimate truth, or Brahman, as described in the Vedic and Upanishadic terms. And this center of all things has made us understand that we are not alone living our desperate lives on this lonely planet in an indifferent universe. The center always held us. We were always at the center of things. And this is also like the God and his creation, the creator and his creation, Bhagwan and his devotees. It is also our common sense understanding that there are regions of individual consciousness, which is like a fine texture of this soul, which we feel, which talks to us, which whispers, which guides us, but we find it hard to lay our finger on and touch it. This is the fundamental contradiction we have. This is also the best evolutionary lever, accessing the inaccessible. If we look into the human history, for 2,000 years or so, we were going very well until we got derailed when we assassinated Socrates, the thinker or the philosopher of the Greece, who talked about soul and inner life in the year 399 before the Dark Era. We seem to have ventured external life instead of going inward. For more than 2,000 years or so, we have worked out various fundamental beneficial systems, collapsing one after the other. Once again, instead of going inside, we seem to have ventured external world. Here I would like to illustrate a small conversation that took between the two people. One was a Western thinker who quoted Descartes. He is a thinker from France. He quotes in Latin and says, "Cogito ergo sum," which means I think, therefore I am. He quotes this to a young daughter of India, and he says to her, "Don't you think this is a beautiful thought? For which this daughter of India replies, I am baffled by this thought, I think, therefore I am. But for myself, sir, I would like to say, I am, therefore I think. I am, therefore I think. Bhagwan has said the world is not all that we see and think. It is much more mysterious than we have dreamt about. There has been this mystery that Buddha sought after before he attained nirvana, the mystery that Greeks celebrated, Olympus and the dazzling light Sophocles saw above the earth's stage, above the masks that spoke of their misfortune. And again, this is the same mystery that the saints and seers of Vedic and Upanishadic texts speak about, and when that takes a form and shape and restricts itself to time and space, we call that avatar, as in the instant case, Sri Satya Sai. Swami says, if you really want to know who I am, you have to burn long and strive hard. In Sanskrit, it is said, Kritrimani Rodhamsi, which means one has to get rid of the artificial obstructions of the mind and develop purity of thoughts. In his own verse, he said, Chitta suddhileni chudramana unaku atmatattvam etlu abbunokunu atmatattvam abbunu atisuddha hrudayunike unnamata cheppuchunnamata, which means without having the purity of thought and mind, how could you even think of understanding these high principles of life? When you develop these purities of thought, you could even think of going Godward path. There are verses in also Rig Veda, various verses. One such is referred to Lord Agni. It says, O Agni, let there be created in me correct thoughts, which again spring from thee. Here, we are asking the God himself to give us the right thinking. Dear brothers and sisters, going Godward path is not as easy, as simple as we talk here. It is a continuous process of learning and understanding the gross and the subtle, going from immanent to the transcendent, understanding Satyam, Sivam, Sundaram, truth, beauty, goodness, SSS, as SSS, Sri Satya Sai. Here I would like to illustrate a story from Taittiriya Upanishad, which will highlight the concentration of mind as a prerequisite to be God-word. It is a conversation between the son Bhrigu and the father Varuna. Bhrigu goes to Varuna and says, Father, teach me Brahman. Varuna says, yes, I will teach you Brahman. First you concentrate on Annam as Brahman, which is food as Brahman. Bhrigu goes back, he concentrates on Annam as Brahman. He is not satisfied. He comes back to the father again and he says, Father, teach me Brahman. Father says, now you go back and concentrate on vital breath or Vayu as Brahman or Prana. He goes back, he concentrates, and he is not satisfied still. He goes back and forth like this again and again. And he understands the very explanation itself is contradictory because he is not able to arrive at the unitary conception of Brahman. Then he further goes on concentrating on Hiranyagarbha. We are very fortunate for having witnessed this emerge from Bhagwan himself. He concentrates on that and he understands in various degrees that it is this. It has everything, the gross, subtle, subtler than the subtlest, and he attains bliss. Through concentration alone, one could reach greater heights. And also there is parallel that you can draw from Kathopanishad, where Nachiketa also concentrates in the same fashion on Hiranyagarbha and detaches himself from the world altogether. In the year 1968, Bhagwan said, not only now, even for thousands of years to come, you will not be able to understand the true nature of myself. Year 1960 is important because that was during First World Conference. Not only now, even for thousands of years to come, you will not be able to understand the true nature of this reality. I'm reminded of a verse from Kenopanishad, Yasya matam tasya matam, matam yasya vedasam, avijnata vijanatam vijnata vijanatam, meaning the reality, Satyam, is neither known nor unknown. It is known to very few and unknown to the learned. We must be very fortunate, at least we have had the glimpses of this truth through our experiences. Our hearts have been comprehending these truths. And if you were to ask, what does he really want? He wants nothing. He is the giver. He wants nothing but that what wants. He is simplicity par excellence, simple state par excellence. You may ask the question, what does this silence mean? His silence does not mean inactivity, because there is nothing inactive in his creation. He goes through 1001 trifles of everyday life and nobody knows who he is because he doesn't care for recognition, because he is the one who recognizes everything. His stillness bears the voices of truth. And you may ask the question, how is he? He is elusive truth, totally unpredictable. He looks serious as he teases you and smiles at the miseries of the world because he works incessantly, sending the balance over the wounds of earth. You may again ask, how does he do that? In Kathopanishad, it is said, Asino duram rajati shayanam yati sarvata, which means, as he sits here, he travels far and wide. As he seems resting, his existence is present, is felt everywhere. Brothers and sisters, your coming here from all around the world and my existence here bears the testimony to this truth. And if you ask the question, what does he change? He does not believe in preaching the nations or performing any public demonstrations or sensational demonstrations. He brings the change in the inner densities of hearts of people. He brings about universal fundamental change in the lives of men, women, and children. And again, you may ask, how does he do that? He does not condemn or judge. He does not strike or break. He tries to release the same particle of truth present in every being, every element, everything. Because his power is from truth to truth, from matter to matter, and his vision embraces everything. Then you may ask the question, where is his field of action? All is his field of action. Through infinitesimal, he acts on the whole. In infinitesimal, he deciphers the whole. All over the world, he contacts his own body. In his own words, Bhagwan said, I would like to quote his verse in Telugu. Chukkalanniyu Brahma, Suryundadi Brahma, Chandrudu Brahma, Jalamu Brahma, Swargamannanu Brahma, Valabhyamadi Brahma, Talliyu Brahma, Tandriyu Brahma, Bhagyavantamu Brahma, Valabhyamadi Brahma, Jeevarasulu Brahma, Jeevi Brahma, Puttinchunadi Brahma, Poshinchunadi Brahma, Gittinchunadi Brahma, Grihini Brahma, Kalamu Brahma, Sarvamu Brahma. Sarvamu Brahma, ee Srushti Brahma, ee Sabayu Brahma, Satyamu Cheppu Sai Brahma. I'm sorry if I mixed up the lines. It means everything is Brahman. Truth is Brahman. Sun, the star, moon, the one that creates, the one that destroys. Puttinchinadi Brahma, Gittinchinadi Brahma, Grihini Brahma. The lady of the house is also Brahman. Prakriti Brahma, Pranamu Brahma. Nature is Brahman. Life breath is Brahman. Sarvamu Brahma is Sabayu Brahma. Everything is Brahman. Even the assembly here is Brahman. And the one who declares this truth verily is Brahman, and that is Sri Satya Sai. This oneness is neither an addition nor subtraction to the microscopic. Neither is eternity, number of years ad infinitum, nor immensity, number of miles plus one. When this is the case, isn't it foolish for us to think that all this rare fabric of creation is out of a mere chance, when all the skills of science put together, we are unable to make even an oyster? Brothers and sisters, if we were to imagine this whole creation as a giant being, the purpose being truth, beauty, and goodness, the world is a movement for the realization of these values. And if this is the final cause, matter is the material cause, structure is the formal cause, and Bhagwan, God himself, is the efficient cause. When you put mind over matter, the ultimate result is only spirituality. The purpose of this avatar is to build character and build values into our lives. We will understand this when we grow faith in ourselves. All that we need is take off the blinkers and cast a true look. Here I am reminded of Kabir's Doha, where his God speaks in his verses. He says, God says to him, "Oh, the bound one, you think you'll find me in your yantra, tantra, mantra? You'll find me in your yoga or hatha yoga? You'll find me in your Kasi or Haridwar? No, no, no. You will find me in your Vishwas, in your faith alone." That is what exactly Bhagwan said yesterday. Faith can move mountains. You will find him only in faith. Who says he will not hear your call? If only your yearning was like that of Mirabai, who left her palace to merge at the lotus feet. Who said you cannot see him when you want? If only you had the eyes of Surdas, who